Happy Saturday. It's week 39 of 2020, September 26th. I hope you've had a great week. Ours has been amazing. Sunday, we had a pretty lazy day, just cleaned the camper up some. Unfortunately, I think the weather's already a little too cold for us to do any camping this season. Probably have to wait till spring, unless maybe I like sleeping out in the cold. Jill does not. Maybe the boys might want to go find some place to pop it up, or maybe we'll just camp out in the driveway. This is our first time around with camping in a long time. The last time we went camping was many, many years ago, and it didn't go well, and I don't think I want to share that story. But now that we have a pop-up and we're not going to be sleeping in a tent, we're going to give it a try again. I think it's something we might like. On Monday, I got to thinking about a craft that I'd like to do sometime with Ben. I think Ben would like this. I have this incense. I don't know if you can see this here, but it's a cedar incense. They smell like cedar when they're burnt, so it smells kind of like a campfire. I did some looking around online, and I found a place out on the East Coast somewhere that has been making, since the 1930s, they've been making this little log cabin incense burner that you put the incense inside and the smoke comes out the chimney. So I thought that would be really cool for if Ben and I could just make some of those. Might be a fun craft and maybe something to give away to friends or whoever would like them. Also, we're thinking, since the incense itself is a little bit expensive for what it is, it's just, wood chips that are, or not wood chips, wood shavings. What's the word I'm looking for? It's sawdust. Yes, just sawdust that's been put together and molded into a block, and we could probably make something like that. I might be getting overly ambitious with that. I'm not sure. We'll see. Ben's excited about it, and we're trying to find a good time to do that. Monday night also, I took Ben out to the batting cages and he hit a whole bunch of balls. He really wants to do what his coach has asked him to do and try and hit off to the right when he hits, because otherwise his timing is too fast and he's pushing it off to the left. So he gets real excited when he gets it in the right position where he wants to hit it. And now it's time for the word of the week. Word of the week this week that I asked Brian is sketch. Sketch is not sketching on a piece of paper and making a picture. No, sketch is short for sketchy. And sketchy means, I think most of us know what sketchy means. When you're driving maybe through a scarier part of town and you're kind of like, oh, this is a little sketchy, or I don't know. But sketch, instead of saying sketchy, they'll just say this is sketch. Again, a teenage word that takes a regular word and just cuts it down into something smaller. Perhaps my explanation is a little sketch? Tuesday was September 22nd, and it was the first day of autumn, or fall. Yeah. So the leaves we've noticed on the trees, and some trees are starting to turn colors a little bit. Looks like maybe we're going to get a really nice, colorful fall. I sure hope so. On Tuesday also, Ben decided he wanted to make some hummus. So he got the family hummus recipe and started working on that. He overheated the blender at one point because he didn't realize he needed to stir it a little bit more. Actually, the first time around, he came downstairs and he said, Dad, I didn't read the part about not putting the liquid from the chickpeas in the thing. So he kind of made a hummus soup, unfortunately. And so we just doubled the recipe and left the liquid out of the second one, and it turned out wonderful. We have been eating hummus all week long now, and it's just so tasty, and Ben is so proud of himself that he made that. Also, sometime this week, I don't remember which day it was, I reposted a video that we did called Baking with Ben 3 years ago when he was 10. And Ben is still too young to enjoy it. He calls it cringy, but the rest of us, it's just adorable because it's Ben before his voice started to change and all of that. And he was little and just as quirky as ever, but he was younger, so it was, really cute. Also on Tuesday, Brian had his second cross-country race. He once again beat his best record. He got down to, actually I've got it wrong on this paper because he told me that later he got the official time and it was faster. We originally were told it was 21:58, which beat his last record by 15 seconds. But I think it's actually down in the 21:30s. That was the official time. So he's very excited. Again, his goal by the end of the year is to get under 20 minutes. He wants to get in the high 19s. So if he gets a 19:59 or or lower, he's going to be really excited to have reached his goal for the end of the year. He was particularly pleased with his run because it was up in Stockton, and the course there is very hilly. He trains on hills right here in our neighborhood because we have a lot of hills in our neighborhood. So he was ready for those hills in a lot of ways that other people were not. Zach, of course, is the tree trimming working man. He's the lumberjack in the family. He is so excited because since he got back from Louisiana, he's kind of had sort of, I guess in the military they would call it field promotions. So he's able to use a lot more of the equipment now because in the necessity of the storm work down, out of state, he was able to get a lot more experience that he might not have gotten as soon here in town. So he's excited about that. He got a raise and he's just really happy about the work that he's doing. Thursday was a fun day. Took Zach to work early in the morning. He needed to be there by, I think it was 7 a.m., about an hour and a half earlier than he usually does, which brings me to another fun thing that happened later this week. I'll tell you in just a minute. After I dropped him off at work, I went over to the title place to have the camper title transferred. Of course, ran into a snag with that. Then I went for the dentist. I went there to have a crown replaced. You would think with all the crowns that I have, I'd feel more regal. I do have a bit of advice for you youngsters out there. Take care of your teeth. Having crowns and root canals, thankfully I've only had one, it's no fun. So floss and brush and just take care of them and they'll take care of you. Or, well, you'll have less pain anyway. Oh, another bit of advice, don't try to eat something you have to chew when your mouth is all numb. I've got a little bit of fat in my lip. That hurts really bad because I was so hungry after my dentist appointment. I couldn't help it. I had to go eat. I went to Tropical Smoothie and got their Thai chicken wrap. Oh, it tastes so good. If you have a Tropical Smoothie near you and if you like Thai food, try their Thai chicken wrap. It's really good. No, they're not a sponsor. On Thursday night, I was outside working on the camper and our neighbor Joyce came over and she said, "Hey Joe, you've got teenage boys. I'm selling my car. Do you think one of them might want to buy it?" Zach just got back from doing all that work in Louisiana, so he's got a bunch of money saved up and he wants to buy a car. So I call him up and I tell him about this car. It's perfect for him. He's very excited about it. So he bought that yesterday. He got to go to the title place and find out that he needs something else of information before he can get that done. Jill and I both looked at him and said, "Well, welcome to adulthood." So that was Friday when Zach purchased his first car. Ben had a baseball game last night. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go to his baseball game, but he understood because we went to a friend of ours' wedding. Had a great time hanging out with friends that we hadn't seen in a long time. And of course, the wedding was beautiful. Young couple, and they're just so excited about getting married. And in fact, it was the most giddy that I've ever seen a bride in a wedding. She was just all laughing and giggling the whole time, and it was just, in fact, she looked like she was trying to make sure to breathe so that she wouldn't fall down. It was just a wonderful wedding. It was outdoors in a person's backyard. We all had a good time there. Also on Friday, Jill went with, I think it was Friday. Yeah, well, she went with a friend sometime this week to a thrift store and found a book for me. Seems like people are wanting to give me books lately. This book is called Duh, and it's stupid history, basically. It's history of things that people have said and done that were just ridiculous, and I'm going to bring some of those into the vlog here. I left it upstairs, or I wouldn't mention it right now. There's things in there like people saying things like, "Oh, the telephone will never turn into an invention that people would actually use," and people said things like that about the television and, all sorts of things. And that brings us up to today, Saturday the 26th. Did a little Google search wondering if today was any sort of special national day or anything like that. And what I found out was that today is National Family Day in the US. I guess every day has some sort of national something connected to it. I particularly like National Pizza Day and National Donut Day. Those are really nice. The best, of course, has to be National Family Day. That wraps up week 39 of 2020. We'll see you next week.